Hey guys, this is Warwick. Welcome back to Casual Chess. I'm going to play another couple of 5-minute games today. So welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoy these. Looks like I'm playing white and I might start with d4. Just a reminder for anyone watching, I'm looking to improve my chess over time. And I know that I'm not particularly great at it at the moment. My plan with the channel is basically to encourage myself to play more and maybe find a couple of people that I'd like following along. That'll hold me accountable to improve my skills over time. So anyway, without further ado, let's get back to the game. Looks like we're playing a modern defense here. I think I've got reasonable central development here with my pawns, and my opponent at the moment does not. So I think I'm performing pretty well at this stage. In a lot of my previous games on this channel, one of my big issues has been speed. I usually used to play 10-minute games, and now I've shifted down to 5 minutes. It's a little bit harder to move as quickly as I would like, or as I think I need to. So definitely working on that today. Not really seeing any threat here with that knight on that square. I think I'll just disregard that and castle. Ideally I'd like to hang on to the bishop pair as much as possible. So I think what I'll do is I'll try and kick this bishop back, this enemy bishop, and that leaves a place for my bishop on f4 to flee back to if I need to. Okay, I think I might play I'm a bit unsure about what to play now. Possibly g4. I don't see g4 going too badly. I think I've got the capacity to defend myself. If I play something like g4 and he takes, retake, I can't really have that queen zooming down in because I've got the rook, the knight defending g4, I think. Okay. Getting a bit dangerous here. Now if he retakes my pawn with his pawn, I've got check. Okay, he doesn't. So where to next? That's the question. I really need to get my queen into the game, I think. But I'm going to shift my king across just for a little bit of additional safety. If he takes my pawn on e3 with his pawn on f4 at the moment, I can retake with my pawn, and that opens up a file for both of us rather than just for him. That f file with the rooks. But we'll see. Would really like to get that knight out of there, so I think I might try and do that now by playing my knight back to d2. I'm expecting something like, yeah, that's what I was expecting, knight to g5. I think what I'll do with knight to g5 is I'll actually take. He'll retake with the queen. And now I'm thinking I may retake, sorry, I'll kick him with that rook to g1. That's another kick again. And I'll start sending him back the way he came. Next I'm looking at something like d5. d5 attacks that knight on c6. It also gives a free pawn on b2 to his bishop, but if he does that, I've simply got a play back to b2, b1 rather, with my rook. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. If he is to take that pawn on b2 as well, I'll simply take with my pawn on c6. Okay. Now I've got a real threat, I think, opening up on the G file. I'm going to sacrifice that, retake that, and yeah, the threats are definitely starting to build here. For example, on the next move I can take that bishop with my rook on G1. As I come down and take that, if he retakes that with his queen, then I've simply got G1 again, which is a pin. Definitely closing down the options a little bit here for him. Sorry about some of that background noise, by the way, that's just my chair. Definitely running out of time a little bit, but not in too much trouble. He is ahead on pieces, but that's partly because of the sacrifice that I made. I think I've got some pretty strong pawn structure. Now if I was to play something along the lines of queen to h8, he'll be forced to play something to f. It'll be that rook to f7 to block. I'm definitely winning back a piece here. If he plays something like knight to e7 and then rook to f7, I'm a little bit anxious about my lack of protection over the right hand side of the board, so probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to play something like rook to g7. He'll have to defend with rook to f7. I'll take, that'll be check, and he'll be forced to retake, and then I'll come back down and I will take that knight. There, we're definitely back in the game now. I don't really like the way that played out, but not much I can do about that. I'm going to be looking at getting this knight back into the game now, probably via f3. I'm aware that there is some risk over on the h file. There's not a whole lot I can do to protect myself over there, so I'm going to have to play defensive and aggressive at the same time. Okay, look, I'll still try and deploy that knight to g5. Obviously I can't do that easily now, but something like e5 now. If retakes with that pawn, then... Whew, okay. Alright, we'll take en passant there. Ah, perfect. Okay, so if I now play knight to e5, if he retakes with his pawn, then I've got my take with check. Take on his queen on d7. So that's actually a fork and he'll lose his queen now. Definitely have a very short amount of time to actually convert this win. But it looks like it'll be game over in terms of piece loss. I'm really happy I saw that actually. N on e5. Check, fork, pin. A lot of things happening in the center of this board here. I'm hoping as well that I can simply check him around the board a bit. Perfect, he's lost that rook now. And that will really be game over. I'm just going to start advancing up the board. Okay, no, he's resigned. Look, a decent game. So let's get into the analysis now. Okay, we're back with the analysis now. So checking out the report, we can see my accuracy was reasonable, 70.3% versus 54.3%. So I had quite a few best moves, no brilliant moves, One excellent, a couple of good, a couple of book. Plenty of inaccuracies though, and you can see that if you look at the graph below. The game was wild, it says. You came out on top, great, but a bit of up and down there. He definitely was winning at some stages. I can see that he had a negative 2.42 at one stage, whereas I was up by about 2.58 at another, and it still went back and forth from there. I only had 2 blunders, not great, but versing the 6 he had, you can understand why I managed to get away with the win. So the personalised training suggested is rooks on the 7th rank. You probably saw that theme in the game. Relative, absolute pins, and outside pass pawns, although obviously that outside pass pawn theme wasn't something I got to capitalise on because the game it disappeared away from us. It was over pretty quickly at the end there. Okay, yeah, taking a look at the best move difference, you can really see that up and down and how often my opponent and I actually miss those best moves of the game. But oh well, look, as I say every game, you live and you learn. I did manage to get a missed win, but we came away with it in the end. And I think I said I was fairly happy with that knight to e5 move, and it does say that was best. I nearly didn't see that, but looking in this position now, yeah, you can see that I do have that fork with the knight, and the pawn on the d file can't actually retake that knight, because if he does, I've got a straight run up to the queen with check. So that was the best move, and I am pretty happy with that. I think that's going to be the takeaway from the game, is to continue looking for forks and things like that so that I can take advantage of my opponent's quick thinking, especially in a short time frame game like a 5-minute. So anyway guys, look, thanks for tuning in again, and hopefully you enjoyed that game. I think it was a reasonable one, but obviously again a lot to improve. So oh well, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.